Welcome to Red Zone DFS Week 18, the notorious Week 18 we've all been waiting for. Jim, Vin, it's good to be back in the United States with Wi-Fi where I can actually join the podcast.
Yeah, you survived. You were down there for a while, about a month.
What?
Right off the COVID test, right off the COVID list, right back on the podcast. I mean, these NFL players got nothing on me.
Damn.
Ready to go. I love it. And
all right.
Quick shout out first off, obviously, for Big Jim for his Monday, was it?
Yeah, man. So
Monday lightning ride that could have been better, but it was still pretty freaking
you are reading that number correctly. That is a comma. That is not a decimal. We are in America. We don't do the decimals here.
I mean, yeah, would have been really nice, to finish first, but off a $20 entry, you just kind of have to let the chips fall where they might. And it was a really good run. Drafted a really good team. Took some shots on some guys in training camp like Jamar Chase, who everybody thought couldn't catch. Burrow coming off an injury. Jonathan Taylor. Cooper Kupp was on my team. It was a great team, right? So there's not really, you can't be too pissed. 236, even if for best ball is just insanely high. I think I only scored higher than that once all year this year. So
you hit the nuts on the when it mattered the most, so
you can't really be too pissed. The guy who finished first obviously had a fantastic lineup too. And Najee Harris I hate him, right? But
that was going to be my question. How many shares are you going to have this week of Najee Harris?
So look, I actually am less upset at Najee Harris as I am at the worthless fucking Browns for not just making a tackle. Because it's not like there's some wide open hole. He ran through 3 arm tackles. And it's like, look, you're a running back. He's a rookie. I mean, he's probably got touchdown incentives and stuff like that. You can't really be mad at something like that. Now, I will say that I was lying on the floor in the middle of my living room trying to figure out what just happened because that was a bit of a dick punch.
I think for about 5 minutes after that. So something was getting broken or something in that moment.
I think I kind of said it and I was just like, dude, you're good. Get the first down, go down, you're good. The only thing that can't happen, and I kind of stopped myself, and sure enough, lightning strikes.
God.
Yeah, I mean,
damn it.
Brutal, but it is what it is. Obviously, on a fucking hell of a pull, So
I know that was a massive win.
I think we're good on the old DFS pot for a while.
Yeah. I think your bankroll will survive this weekend, hopefully. So
I think it'll be all right. As long as I don't play the Thunderdome every week, for golf and stuff like that, I think we'll be all right.
As long as you're not the worm from Rounders, I think you're going to be okay.
I think you can afford the Thunderdome for a few weeks, though, if you chose.
I am not the worm. I'm not worm. That's for sure.
Love it. All right,
boys.
Let's hit it.
Let's get this started. We're going to start with our stacks up top, our top quarterback stacks with receivers this week, and incidentally, we'll get into some of these quarterbacks that you guys should absolutely red flag, not play because they are not going to be playing full games, but we'll get there. Jimmy, the big winner. I'm going to start off with you.
Up top.
So I like the highest price guy the most, Josh Allen. This is a game that the Bills absolutely have to win.
Yeah.
For multiple reasons, right? They need to win the division. They need to win for seeding. Nobody likes to come play in Buffalo, right? So if they win this game, they win the division, and I believe that they'll be the 2nd seed or the 3rd seed, which means that they'll guarantee themselves at least one home playoff game, which is huge for them, right? Just imagine, next week in the playoffs, it's just snowing or just shitty weather in Buffalo. They also need to gain and kind of keep some momentum rolling into the playoffs too, right?
Yeah, which they have a lot of momentum right now.
Yeah, I don't think that, this is going to be a sneaky play, but there's going to be so much weird value on this slate. I think with the obvious plays, you just kind of have to plug them in and go, right? And it'll work out for you. I almost – incidentally, last week, I almost took down, the PME, Pat Mayo's tournament. I had some really highly owned guys but I was able to differentiate myself in a few other places, right? So, the obvious plays, I think you just kind of got to roll with them this week and see where the chips land.
Yeah. They're in an amazing spot. Second highest team total, the Jets, who, hopefully the Jets can put up a little bit of a fight like last week. We were not going to have our man Braxton Berrios in the lineup, but hopefully they can just kind of keep it close, to keep this thing rolling. And it's not, 27-0 at half, and it's like you only get.
But regardless, Josh Allen has proven that he's willing to go on the ground with his legs, even here towards the end of the season, in moments where he doesn't even need to. He's pretty reckless about that, which not great for season long sometimes, but great for a week, especially against a Jets team. I mean, I think he's guaranteed at least 65, 70 yards on the ground. Hopefully, he sneaks in a rushing touchdown as well on the goal line. So I think Josh Allen's my favorite play as well, Jim. Moving down, we're just going to brush over Aaron Rodgers for a second. He's not my pick, but just for the listeners, there's a good chance Aaron Rodgers plays one series to one quarter max this Sunday. So he's going to start. Don't fall for it. They're just going to try to keep him in his routine, just like they're going to do like we talked about Jamar Chase and a couple other players we'll get to. But Aaron Rodgers is an absolute red flag this week. Do not play him.
Scratch him off. They got nothing to play for. They've clinched home field.
And I feel like I'm going right down the list here, but Tom Brady, I feel like is an obvious person here. The Carolina Panthers are absolutely worthless at this point. Matt Rule, considering himself Jay-Z, that team is not playing hard for him this weekend. They're way out of playoff contention. These guys don't want to get hurt. Tom Brady is also going for the single season passing yards record. You know him. He's not going to slow down until that record is broken, no matter what receivers are out there. And obviously we have some great stacks getting cheap with the Bucks. I don't even know half these guys' names, and I don't even care. But even a guy like Scotty Miller could possibly be in contention this week. I'm not saying he's a favorite, but you can get really cheap with Bucks players with Brady on top, possibly throwing 5 touchdowns, 400 yards this week to finish off the season.
All right.
Yeah, like it.
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah, and I'm sticking right below him. I have him ranked for me over Tom this week, and that's Kyler. I think he's been, pretty damn good lately. He's been using his legs a little bit. This is, a big win for them. They need to win, obviously. And I think you're going to see, in terms of game, it's probably my favorite game because I think this is probably Russ's swan song unless something weird happens in Seattle and they end up keeping him.
No, he's gone.
So I think he's going to show out, last game as a Seahawk. Like, I think this game just has all the makings of just like a really weird divisional, like shootout type thing. There's a lot of pieces you can go. With that, Russ is like one of my favorite quarterbacks too. So both sides of this game are playable. You got receivers on both sides. You've got running backs on both sides. You can get very weird and different in this game. But I think this game definitely has the makings of like a full game stack.
I agree, and I think there's a chance Kyler actually goes lower owned this week on top of that because he's let so many people down this year throughout season-long leagues, right? I mean, his injuries, not putting up the numbers, the rushing stats that we're looking for. But they're going into the playoffs. They're going to be trying to get hot here, and they're going to let him turn loose. So I really, really like the Kyler play.
And then,
Cannonball come in. Cannonball.
Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, sorry, excuse me.
All right.
Still drinking the cheap stuff.
Yeah. Well,
stick to your roots, dude.
Look, I think Kyler Murray's in a great spot. I think that there's guys that are just a little bit cheaper.
Yeah.
That, I can't stand this guy. I absolutely hate him.
Oh, don't steal my guy.
But I think I'm just going to have to play a fair amount of Taysom Hill this week.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things where, like, I don't know if I'll play anybody but him and Kamara, but the run back options on the Atlanta side are great. That offense is just so condensed. It's nice. You just plug Cordero Patterson, plug Gage in, and then we're good to go. Kyle Pitts, he's been questionable all week. I don't think that he's going to play. He pulled his hamstring pretty early in the game last week and didn't come back, which is kind of a bummer because I think that, he would have had a nice matchup there. But, yeah, at 6,200, for the same type of rushing upside, maybe more, that Kyler gives you. This guy, they just keep playing him, and it's really weird. And, like, I don't know. They're in must-win mode, right? They have to win.
Dude, trust me, you don't have to talk me into it. He's number 3 on my list. He's my third favorite quarterback this week.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels really gross because I hate playing guys that like suck at their position.
Yeah, he's not a good quarterback.
No, he's not. But
that's okay.
At 6,200, it's so hard to ignore the type of upside you get with him. And with no Michael Thomas, there's no kind of Saints receiver that really stands out.
Yeah.
I'd be interested as we get closer to lock, what his ownership looks like. Because if not a lot of people are going to play him, I'm probably going to be pretty high on him.
Yeah, I think he's got a very safe floor because I think they are just going to hammer him and Kamara into the ground because it's do or die, win or go home. Yep. And Atlanta is a sieve. Like, they can get absolutely smoked. And I don't think they're going to get cute here. Like, I think Sean Payton's they're each going to tote the rock a lot on Sunday.
Yeah, they got to do what they have to do to win. And look, Atlanta, for as much as we bag on Atlanta, they've got a really, really good quarterback, even though he's getting a little older. But look, they've won 7 games this year. They're 7-9. They're not like really, really terrible.
Yeah, they're not Jacksonville.
No, they're not just a doormat, right? Like Jacksonville and the Jets. And even the Jets aren't really,
I mean, dude, last time they played, it was 27-25, the score.
Yeah, so it's a division game. Atlanta, they have their new coach. They're not going to roll over for anybody, right? They're going to keep playing hard. It's a lot like the Lions to me, right? Like, they're just going to keep playing hard no matter what. And then, I really like the spot for him, right? Is there anybody else kind of in that mid-range that you like, or you guys want to kind of drop down a little more?
Yeah, and the only thing to turn me from this guy is he has no running upside, but it's Kirk Cousins. And guys, we know in games that don't matter, Kirk Cousins is the man, right?
It's very true.
Against a Bears team that's not very good, they're giving up as well. Both coaches are probably getting fired after this game.
Yep.
So, Kirk Cousins, I think, for a 3-touchdown game. And line him up with Jefferson with no Thielen. Maybe throw some KJ Osborne in there. Maybe get a little Conklin in there. I mean, it's very cheap. It's very easy. Kirk Cousins goes off in these situations. So let's do it.
All right.
Cool.
Vinny?
I think right below that, one of my favorite guys on the slate this weekend is Tyler Huntley. Same reasons you talked about with Taysom, right?
Yeah,
like they're in a win now mode. Like, they are technically in right now. They have to win this game, division matchup. So it's going to be a tough slugging match, but he's got 50 to 75 rushing yards in him at least. If he pops one of those in, you're at 12, 13 points. And then whatever he does to the air, he could very easily get 20, 25, 30 points on Sunday. And I think this game could shoot out a little bit more than people think. So
I like the stack options too. I obviously really like Andrews, love Bateman. Those are the only 2 guys I'm really interested in. If you want, if you're playing a larger field GPP, I mean, Marquise Brown is kind of always there, but Huntley has really shown that he's not going to throw the deep ball, kind of like Lamar throws the deep ball. They're going to stick to that intermediate game, which is why Bateman and Andrews has just been absolutely killing it, right?
Yeah.
You got some good run back options on Pittsburgh. Obviously, my favorite player, Najee Harris, who, in a game that, that Pittsburgh's not playing for anything, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're out completely.
No, Pittsburgh.
No,
a lot of stuff has to happen.
Not
a lot of stuff,
but they can't get in.
So
they need the Colts to lose to the Jags.
Yeah.
So
they're out. So they're out, right? Like, I know there's this whole narrative this week that like, oh, the Colts haven't won in Jacksonville and their last 6 games and like all this other shit. The Colts are not losing to Jacksonville.
But again, let's just be honest. Like, Ben's not going to go out there and roll over in his last game, and he would love nothing more than to piss on Baltimore's season, right? To set it off. So they're going to bring it. And
this is probably going to be.
We always talk about this with division games. No matter what, even if teams were both 4-12 at this point, a division game's a division game, and they do not like each other. And
these 2 teams
are
especially
ready to go. Yeah, exactly. Especially if they're in the AFC North.
the NFL finally figured it out. They did it a little bit last year. They're doing it full force this year. They're having as many division games on this last week as possible.
Genius.
So that way, so even the teams that don't have anything to quote unquote play for, still don't want to lose to a division rival, like you said, right, Joe?
Totally.
So, I think that game is great any way you want to stack it. Deontay, I think, is going to have a big game because Baltimore's secondary has just been really, really bad. Baltimore's going to need to win this game like we talked about, so they're just going to load the box and make Noodle Arm try and beat them. If Freiermuth is back in, I think that's, he's been kind of – old Pat's been a little quiet for a few weeks. I think it's a nice week to do a double tight end stack with him and Andrews to kind of get a little bit different there as well. I love the game overall. Really cheap, kind of all over the place, especially if you don't stack with Najee. And then you can kind of pick whoever you want to from there.
Yeah,
okay,
makes sense.
There's only one guy down low that I'm going to be considering throwing in a lineup or two, and that's Jared Goff. Again, we talked about how this Dan Campbell, not Jason Campbell, that retired dude. Dan Campbell, this Lions team is going to be playing hard, right? And they always do. It's Detroit versus Green Bay. This is a rivalry. Jared Goff's thrown 3 touchdowns out of the last, 2 out of the last 3 times he's gone out there. He's been out the last couple of weeks. People are going to forget about him. Amon-Ra St. Brown has just been going off. You can even throw. He was another guy that hooked Jim up. And there's random guys like Raymond that you can throw in there really cheap, or you can go with DeAndre Swift, which is going to be at full health, ready to go. And DeAndre Swift gets catches from Jared Goff. So he's going to get his pass catches in his yard. There's some really weird stacks we can get going on there. So I really like Jared Goff. You got the questionable tag next to him, which is going to throw even more people off him. So that's the only person I like down low. But I do want to have a little conversation. Trey Lance.
Well, hold on. I have one more person down low.
Okay. Do it.
Vinny, do you have anybody down low? Ryan,
I have 2 guys. I'll probably throw a dart. So you're probably going to hit the guy. So
the 20 quarterback man.
No, I've only got 5. But I'll have some random ones like I always do. But
so I'm going to play a Cincinnati stack with Brandon Allen.
Jeez.
And I know that Jamar Chase may only play a quarter or 2, but no one's going to play him. Okay. The guy helped me win 250 GER last week. So I think he deserves a $12 dart throw this week, right?
So why don't you just play Chase? Why do you have to play this wet towel of Brandon Allen?
Because he's going to play the whole game. Okay. And I want $5,100 against the shitty ass Browns who aren't going to play anybody.
I personally think if you're going to do that, you play Case Keenum. He's at least a real NFL quarterback that could have a real game, and then just bring it back with Chase. So
yeah, but there's no one to stack with Keenum.
You could play Landry.
No, I would rather just play Allen, Chase, and then play Chubb on the way back, and then move on. That's how I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Okay, that's deep dive.
Okay,
Joe, you had a question about Lance.
Yeah, so I was talking to B. Wright from The Athletic today, and it's like there's no way in hell Garoppolo plays on Sunday. His thumb is like tearing off of the web of his hand, and there's no way he's playing. And they're just doing this to make the Rams game plan for 2 guys. Now, Trey Lance hasn't shown this like miraculous game, but I think he does have it in him rushing wise to get us a shit ton of points, especially 5,500 in a highly competitive game.
Yeah.
Where that Shanahan's going to dial up some run scheme that is wild. It's going to neutralize someone like an Aaron Donald, right? And Debo's going to go out of rushing yards. Lance is going to have his red zone shots. I think Lance is an interesting play.
So here's my take on that. Vinny, if you want to go.
No, go ahead.
I think that Garoppolo is going to start, but I don't think he's going to play very long. I think that Shanahan is not super confident in Trey being able to do this against this team. So he's going to start Garoppolo, and I think Garoppolo is going to look like shit really quickly, and they're going to go to Lance. So you could get Lance at like 0.03% owned. So in a bigger GPP, which I have a couple of lineups in a big GPP, I'm going to play a Niner stack with Lance. And even if Jimmy plays, because of that injury, they're going to have packages for him, right? I think it's one of those games where we saw earlier in the year, like when Lance threw that touchdown, right? He just came in for like a goal line package. I think that somebody like Lance at 5,500 could easily get you like 3x on like 10 plays, like 15 plays, a lot better than the loser I was just talking about, Brandon Allen, who was going to really struggle to crack 10.
I think it's worth a stab. I personally need to know that he's starting. It's not that he can't do it. I just think like if Garoppolo is going to start, it's because they've just injected his hand with as much cortisone as you could possibly imagine.
Dude, he's going to be throwing like shit.
I'm not saying he's going to play good. I actually don't expect him to. I'm just saying I think if they're going to go that direction, they're riding him. Like they're going to ride or die and live with him. Jim, you're right. There could be packages and stuff, but again, you're talking about like a milli maker shot if you're going to do it. Like definitely if you're a core player, like 3 to 5 lineups, don't make that play. But if you're going to if you're going to put a milli, like it's worth a shot. But if he's going to play, I will have a few lineups with him ready to pivot off.
But I think it's all smokescreen that he's going to play at all. Like I said, I'm talking to someone that is been to the practices, and he's saying there's no way in hell that Jimmy plays.
I don't think so either.
Is destroyed. And I'm sorry, but if you're throwing a football, you can do it without a pinky. You can't do it without a thumb.
A very easy way you can do it, which is what I plan to do, is I'm going to have a few Lance lineups ready to go. The other afternoon game that I will pivot to, not the whole game, but Tyler Huntley's $200 more. So in my Lance lineups, I will leave $200 on the table. If I find out Lance is not starting, I'll pivot to Huntley. Like that's how I'm going to roll with it. But if Lance is in, I will have a few of him for sure.
All right. Glad we had the conversation. Glad we had the conversation. All right. We ready to move on to running backs, or is there any stray animals you have down there you want to pick?
No stray animals.
All right, guys, let's go to running backs. I'm going to, just talk about the elephant in the room. It's Jonathan Taylor. The Colts' playoff hopes rely completely on him against a very weak Jaguars team. Jonathan Taylor can go over 2,000 yards this week. I mean, it's a big game if he does. It's like a 200-yard plus game, which he can absolutely do.
But come on.
But that entire offense runs through Jonathan Taylor. They don't even mess around with Nyheim Hines anymore. It is the Jonathan Taylor show. Carson Wentz is having the season he's having because of Jonathan Taylor. And Mark Wright is a great coach, and he's not going to divert from what's going on. Jonathan Taylor being at 90, Frank Wright, whatever, Mark, Frank, James.
I was like, wait, who?
Miguel. But I mean, he's 9,300. He's $1,000 more than Kamara, right? I hope that just pushes some people away from him or thinking, oh, he's not going to get all the carries. I don't give a shit. Jonathan Taylor can easily go for over 200 yards, 3+ touchdowns this week, and cap off one of the greatest seasons a running back has ever had. So Jonathan Taylor is an easy play. I mean, he's got to be in 50% of lineups this week, right?
He's showing right now about 17 to 20%. So
no, I mean 50% of our lineups. He's got to be in 50% of our lineups.
I would say yes.
I think he's in a smash spot. My only concern is like they get up and they're not going to run him into the fucking ground, and he's their only shot in the playoffs, right? Like if they're up 20-0 and they can squat, Jacksonville's terrible, dude. Like they're not like they may not score a point on Sunday.
I think that they're going to try and get him that rushing record, Vinny.
Dude, he's 300 yards away.
Yeah, I thought he was like 220.
He's at 1,734 yards on the season.
Okay.
So he's got to go 270 on Sunday.
Which is possible.
He needs to have like a monster first quarter.
That's
he's having a day. It might happen.
I mean, Jim, I don't know your take. So if you had thoughts on that, but I personally will have more Kamara. And it's just because I think the team that like there's no other path for them to win this game. Like I think Atlanta's going to be more competitive, and I just project Kamara's going to be like
I just hate it. Kamara's gotten 13, 13, and 11 carries.
I know,
in his
man.
last 3 weeks.
But when he does, they do lean on him. He goes 30, 40 points.
Yeah, to me personally, I would rather play more like Dalvin Cook or Nick Chubb.
I like them too, and Nick Chubb is my sneaky play this week.
I'm staying away from Kamara personally. I just don't. Whatever Sean Payton's doing, when Taysom Hill's in there, everything goes to Taysom Hill, and it doesn't go to Kamara. And it's why they are average this year. So they have a great defense. So the fact that their winning percentage is the way it is because of Sean Payton's reliance on Taysom Hill this season and not going to Kamara. So I don't see him changing just out of the blue on the last week. I'm not going to take the risk.
That's fair.
Jim. I would rather just play Jonathan Taylor. I mean, look, it's coming down to this week. Like, you can find some value out there. But it's going to come down to whether or not you want to play Jonathan Taylor or you want to play Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to be very difficult to play them both in a lineup and make like a decent lineup.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, I'm going to have a fair amount of Taylor. I'm more leaning toward the side of Joey. I'll have Kamara with my Taysom Hill stacks just to try and maximize all of the touchdown equity kind of in that offense. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I'm just like, there's a guy a little bit further down that I am actually going to probably have a lot more of. So I'll wait till we get down into like the high sixes.
Okay. Is there anyone else in the 7K range you guys are looking at?
I mean, obviously we talked about Najee a little bit. I think you have to get some sort of exposure to him just based on the volume. He's on the field. Like, obviously last week I was hyper focused when he was on the field because he was, basically stole $750,000 from me. But he's on the field every fucking play. He was literally out for I counted like maybe 4 or 5 snaps. That's it. Yeah. He's a monster for pass blocking. He does it all. And it's weird that I know they have an outside shot, but they're going to like run this guy into the ground year one, but they're going to do it, right? Like they just keep him out there all the time. So I think that,
combined last time they played, he had 26 total touches, 5 through the air, 21 on the ground. Like he's going to get you 25 touches.
That's normal. That's just normal for him.
To your point, like I really want to play Nick Chubb because I think it's sneaky as hell, and he's going to be like 1% owned. But dude, that last game scared me. Like, they didn't play him. He doesn't have an injury designation. He had 12 carries.
Like, the guy that ultimately won had Chubb and Harris, and I thought Chubb was going to be my bigger problem last
year. I don't know what Cleveland's doing, man. I mean, who knows? So that's scary.
Kareem Hunt's questionable. Looks like he's probably going to play this week.
Yeah,
so I don't know, man. That's
another situation where I don't trust the coaches. They don't know what they have, obviously, and again, there's a reason they're 500. They're 500 with a monster roster, right? Because they just don't do anything right. They don't even do play actions with a run-heavy offense. They don't even run a play action.
I think that they want to lose this game. I know it's a division game. I think that they want to lose this game because it will help their draft pick next year. I think if there's any team this weekend that's really looking to lose, 8-9 or 7-10, I mean, that could be a difference of like 5 or 6 picks because there's a lot of teams that are going to finish right around that area, right?
Yeah.
So
I hear you. What if we drop down a little bit? What about like below 7K?
Yeah, so below 7K, the guy that we have to look at is Montgomery.
Yeah, dude, he's just been a monster.
That's my guy.
Yeah, Nagy's just been riding him, right? He finally realized, oh shit, this guy's pretty good. Our run game is what carries us forward, and he took him to not have any quarterbacks to understand that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Montgomery, I think, is going to get fed over 20 times against a Minnesota team that both coaches are going to get fired after this game, and the players are playing for themselves. And I can see David Montgomery having himself a day.
Yeah,
and pissing off a lot of people that didn't even think about it.
I love
everyone just automatically goes, "Oh, the Bears suck. The Bears suck. I'm not going to play." It's like, well, yeah, like that's fine and everything like that. But David Montgomery is just getting, the type of volume that Najee Harris is getting. Like he's not coming off the field, right? So like, we have to pay attention to that. And, everyone's going to flock to Rashad Penny again.
Yeah.
And maybe rightfully so, right? Because
Yeah.
they're giving him a shitload of volume as well. But I would rather pay the extra $300 to go play an abysmal run defense in Minnesota as opposed to Arizona, where like Arizona needs to win this game.
Yeah.
So it's a division game. They have to win. And then the thing I love where Penny is priced, I think he's going to suck up a lot of ownership from Cordero Patterson as well. Patterson's a little bit lower price this week. Give me all the Cordero this week.
Yeah,
interesting.
I think also Connor's a pick that we have to look at. Edmonds might not play this week. Ooh. And again, the Cardinals need to win and the Rams to lose, and they can take the division. So
I like a different Cardinals running back.
So, but James Conner, I mean, again, he hasn't played in 2 weeks, and he missed the 3 weeks ago. He came out of the game.
Yeah,
I think his ownership goes down. This is still the 16 touchdown man running the ball. The Cardinals are going to feed him if he's healthy. And it's been a heel thing. I think they've been resting him up for the playoffs. But this is a playoff game for the Cardinals, and it's an interdivision game. And I think James Conner is going to go, surprise people and go, oh, shit, I forgot about James Conner.
Yeah, I think
that's like we were talking about a month ago.
The other one that I like that's right below that, which I think is a sneaky play, not even sneaky, I guess, but if Aaron Jones isn't going to play, which I don't think he's going to, he's questionable with that rib injury. Did you see that hit he took, by the way, last week?
He's been dealing with multiple injuries though. Like his ankle's been jacked up. I mean,
I have a feeling they sit him in a meaningless game. He gets this week, the bye week, in a week of like rest, so he gets 3 weeks before the week. I think AJ Dillon's a really good play. 6,200 versus the Lions rush defense, which is just abysmal.
So I don't disagree with you, Vinny, but I think that's going to be where a lot of people can go. He's going to be the sexy pick, right?
Yeah.
I think that if Aaron Rodgers was playing,
well, he is playing. We just don't know. We don't like. Yeah, I know. I hear you.
If Aaron Rodgers, we knew he was going to play the whole game, which I don't think that he is. I would have some interest in AJ Dillon. Once Aaron Rodgers goes out and Jordan Love comes in the game, Dan Campbell is going to load the box up and say, okay, you go beat me. Because as soon as Aaron Rodgers comes out, Devontae Adams is coming out too.
I hear what you're saying, but like the Lions still have the 30th ranked rushing defense in the league. Like it's not like they're any good, right?
That's fine, but if you load the box – if you load the box with 8 players, which is what Dan Campbell's going to do to make Jordan Love,
I hear you.
Hasn't shown shit.
I think there's a play below that we all really. I'm just kind of going in list here of guys that are going to be in my player pool. I think. Below that, who's got next?
Yeah. Like, so already mentioned him. Already mentioned him, but I'll be playing him in one-offs as well. It's DeAndre Swift. Same game again. Lions are going for it, man. Every game is a playoff game for them, especially going against the Packers. DeAndre Swift doesn't carry an injury designation anymore. He's going to be playing full. Dan Campbell's not going to be like, oh, let's rest him for next season. That's just not his mentality. Jared Goff is back. We're looking at massive PPR stats here with Swift. Yeah. He's going to get a lot of catches. Again. I mean, that's fine, but he's been a little bit rough around the edges injury-wise the last few weeks.
1 week, Vinny?
Yeah, but
no, this is like
DeAndre
the fourth time.
He's finally not carrying an injury designation from that shoulder. He missed 4 weeks in a row, and then last week he got 4 carries, and they were just easing him back in against Seattle.
So I think
I just think there's better plays.
But like what you just said, Vinny, is I think maybe a big reason to play him.
But why would you? Why would you pay $100 more for Eli Mitchell? In a scheme that they are going to hammer the Rams.
So I'm not playing Eli Mitchell because of Deebo Samuel, because of Trey Lance on the goal line. Eli Mitchell can go for 100 yards and get completely snake this week. Whereas DeAndre Swift is going to be the guy, the focal point of that offense when he's healthy, because they don't have anyone else.
I get that, dude, but like he's gone for 30, 17, and 24 his last 3 games. Whereas Swift, like I get it, he's got the upside, but like you're talking about a guy that is just insanely volatile, and I just don't think you need to do it. Like Devin Singletary's been better than Swift lately.
Well, I mean,
again, Swift hasn't been playing.
Yeah, he hasn't been playing full snaps. And I just think Elijah Mitchell, Vinny, like I love Mitchell. And I know that the Niners, their path to victory is running the ball.
It's the only way they win Sunday.
Exactly. But the Rams also know this. And the Rams are either going to be playing a hurt Jimmy Garoppolo or a green as, my garden in July, Trey Lance. Okay. So they're going to do the same thing. They're just going to load the box and say, okay,
I hear you.
That's why I like, if you're going to play some Niners this week, and we'll get to it when we get to the wide receivers, is playing some of the passing guys because they're going to have to throw the ball in order to win the game this week.
For sure.
So,
and by the way, Chase Edmonds is officially out. So the James Conner play just got even higher for him.
Yeah, that's a nice call. I wasn't really on him. Anyone below 6K that you really like? Or I know we can take dart shots everywhere, but
out of this whole area, a guy that I like more is Dante Foreman.
Yeah, I have him too.
Tennessee runs the ball. Houston fucking sucks. They just, we watched it last week, even against the Niners with a solid run defense. He had a solid game.
Yeah.
Right. They're just going to feed him the ball. And I'm just going to follow that volume because he's not a sexy name. He's not a name that a lot of people are going to play, but he has one of the best point per dollar values on the entire slate just because of the volume he's been getting. And then below that, obviously we talked about Samaje Perine a little bit. Joe Mixon's on the COVID-19 list, which I don't really think that they care. They need him healthy for the playoffs. Perine's going to get the bulk of the work, and he's going to be the guy. And at 5,300, I don't really even care if he's in the 25-30% owned range with that volume. That's just kind of a free square that I'll just take and then move on.
What about your boy Sexy Rexy?
No thanks.
So there's a guy we need to talk about at 5K, and it's Michael Carter for the Jets. He's not carrying the injury designation. He got concussed out of last week. He had 3 carries for 54 yards and got a concussion last week.
Guys had a rough season.
Yeah, but he's no injury designation. He's playing.
Yeah.
Again, this is a team that, a rookie head coach wants to go out on a high note for going into next season, and he's going to ride his rookie running back, Michael Carter.
Well, he's the passing down guy too, right?
Yep. So he's going to get all the love, and he does have potential to absolutely have a huge game.
Yeah. The only last guy that I just want to mention, we can hit receivers. We're running a little bit long. Antonio Gibson, any interest?
No, but I have
5,800 versus the Giants.
Maybe. I have a guy that I'm a little bit more interested in, though, at the dead min at 4,000.
Let's fire it away.
Benjamin.
Yeah.
Nobody is going to play Benjamin.
Yeah.
Nobody.
I liked him earlier this year, too. He's super explosive. He just doesn't get the run. But he will this week.
Well, and here's the thing, right? You have to take some sort of stances in these games. I don't disagree with Joey's Connor play because it's sneaky, and I like that. But there is a scenario, and a very likely scenario, that Arizona just starts blowing the doors off Seattle, and by halftime they might be up by 14 to 20 points, right? Even if they get to that in the fourth quarter, they're just going to start feeding Benjamin the ball, and Seattle's run defense is absolutely fucking terrible.
Yeah,
they're not going to run Kyler Murray because they don't want to get him hurt. They're going to lean on Connor, yes, but they also don't want to blow him out. So Benjamin is going to get carries. It's either going to be him or the other guy that Arizona's been getting run is Jonathan Ward. That's where the big risk is guessing which one of those guys is going to get that secondary volume.
Yeah.
I think it's Benjamin. The modeling that I'm looking at thinks it's Jonathan Ward. One of those guys I think could be a sneaky play in a larger field, but very, very risky. But absolutely worth mentioning because of how the game could go there.
That's fair. All right. Let's roll
receiver
to
time.
The Dubs. Joe, you haven't let off yet, have you?
Yeah.
Maybe good. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
Cannonball.
I'm not going to lead off at the top because he's too obvious, but I think it is a Deebo Samuel week. Again, I think if the Niners want to win this game and do their thing, they're going to move Deebo around. He's going to get the ball in every situation possible, motioning, dragging across the field, not letting Jalen Ramsey cover him at all or make him run around the field to cover him. I think this is a Deebo week. I think Deebo has one of those games. He's got this big rivalry with Aaron Donald. I love these storylines. They're all talking about, I don't know that guy. I don't know him either. Right. I love it. It's some WWE shit from 1993.
It's great.
This is some total Undertaker shit back in the 90s. I love it. So I think this is a Deebo week and a massive, massive game for both teams.
Yeah, I'm with you. And
that's going to come down to the wire.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think he's probably my favorite one-off this week. And it's just
Yeah.
because, he's not traditional, but like he is so important to that team. They're going to find a way to get him the ball.
But he's like a Cordero Patterson, right? It's all about touches. It's not how he gets his touches. It's about the touches in total and the situations they give him the ball, which is important situations, third downs, goal line plays. Debo is the guy they're drawing the play up for.
Totally.
So I think it's a Debo week at 8,500. It's cheap, man. It's cheap.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
What about some other one-offs? Sure, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, I think, if we're talking about one-offs, there's two right around the 7,000 range. AJ Brown and Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Brown brothers here. I think that, obviously St. Brown, they're just they see the talent in him. He's obviously comfortable in the offense now, and they're just peppering him with the ball. And then AJ Brown playing Houston. I mean, he's all they got, right? They don't have any.
And they need to win. And Tennessee needs to win too.
So I'm going to mention this because I almost listed these guys as a stack, but Tennessee lost to Houston last time.
And
I know. Yeah,
if they win,
them up.
and if they win, they clinch #1 seed.
I know.
They're going to kick the shit out of Houston this week, and so I really want to play a Tannehill lineup. His game logs have just been so bad, but I'll probably have a Tannehill. And
I mean, look, well, what you can do, Vinny, I think, is that like if you just play Tannehill, Foreman, and Brown,
AJ Brown,
you're just capitalizing on like 85% of the touchdown equity in that offense. Because like when they get into the red zone, they're either going to run to Foreman, they're either going to try and look to throw to AJ Brown the large percentage of the time, or Tannehill can run the ball, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, I think it's fine, and that's not something that I even thought about. So, like, as we're, like, talking right now, I'm like, man, like, you got a great run back with Cooks on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in.
Tennessee's going to smoke them. Like, that's a bet I'll take all day. Like, gambling-wise. So, cool.
Right, going down the line, is there any – I mean, I just mentioned one, the guy that I play every single week that I will continue to play, Brandon Cooks. But,
but I got a guy.
Go.
It's going to be, and I'm calling it here, it's going to be a Tyler Lockett week.
Ooh.
Dang.
Tyler Lockett goes absolutely berserk against the Cardinals, and he always does. DK got the 3 touchdowns last week and all these targets. Everyone's going to jump on that train. It is a Tyler Lockett week. 3 catches, 3 touchdowns potentially on all random, Russ high ball throws going to space.
I like it.
Again, I love Lockett this week. I'm going to get overexposed to him. I know it, but again, I love him as a one-off. And at 6,400, that's way, way too cheap for his
I like that because I can never predict which week it is. I'm always wrong. So the fact that you're saying it, like, I'm in. I love that. So.
Yeah, but like he's a hard guy to predict. That's for sure.
Yeah,
but
he hits like he has slate breaking like potential. So
he's a slate breaker for sure.
Cool. Yeah, no, I really like that. Man, I think below that, I think an interesting play this week that's like good leverage if you're going to not play Jonathan Taylor in a lineup is Michael Pittman. I mean, the Jags are just so bad, but like this is a guy who's still getting almost double-digit touches or targets a game. He could very easily
Pittman's their only real receiver.
Yeah, he could very easily catch 10, 12 balls and 180 yards on Sunday. Like the Jags are so bad. So I think it's an interesting leverage spot. It's 5,900. I mean, that's for number 1 against the worst team, one of the worst teams in the league. Like I think that's a really good play.
Yeah, that's not a bad one. Down in that area, we're starting to get down. I mean, if you're looking for a guy that has like a 10 or 11 point floor, but I think this week could just be a spike week. I think it's Brandon Ayuk at 5,600.
Death, taxes, and Jimmy playing Brandon Ayuk.
Well, I mean, look, it's paid off.
What a shocker. No,
that's my surprise of the week.
The disparity of pricing between him and Debo,
I
get it
massive.
Because Debo gets the carries, but it's too much, right? He is the guy that they're going to look to throw the ball down the field. And I think in order for the Niners to win the game this week, they're going to have to take some shots down the field. And if we all think that Trey Lance is going to play and that there's no way that Jimmy can play, Trey Lance is the guy to take the shot.
Yeah, he becomes very attractive to me if Lance plays.
Well, I think he is anyway, just because they're gonna have they're gonna have to find some way to get him the ball. And if Jimmy can't throw the ball 15 yards, then they're not gonna play him, right?
So another little caveat just to keep in mind is like against the Rams with Von Miller, there's a very strong possibility that Kittle becomes more of a blocking tight end in this game.
Yes.
Like he will stay in on pass routes and block as an extra
100%.
protector. So if you're gonna stack it, like George Kittle, as much as I love the guy, like he's not an automatic lock. Sure, he could burn him. We're talking about tight end here, but like if you're gonna do it, like there's no hurt like playing Debo and Ayuk or just going to Ayuk because, like I said, Kittle is going to be counted on to help block with Von Miller there now. So
we've seen it a lot this year, right? Like Debo can get his numbers and Ayuk can still hit value because they have different roles completely within the offense, right? And those games that Kittle does need to stay in and block more, like this game, Ayuk is gonna get his looks. And at 5,600, like it's just not a good price for him. Like I get it, he could get you like 6, right? But I think he also has like 20-point upside, no problem. I mean, if he catches one of these bombs that they're gonna try and throw, I'm going to hope that Kyle is going to have to scheme somebody up to get open, right? And I think he's going to be the guy this week. So just in that range right there, Ayuk, and then I talked about it real quick earlier as a run back, but I think he's a great one-off, and Russell Gage as well because he's about the only receiver that the Falcons have at this point.
Yeah. All right, let's go down low. I got 2 guys.
I'm going to save my one low guy because he's going to be my end of the podcast prediction.
Okay.
Right, hopefully we don't take it.
I got 2 guys in this like 40, 51, 49 range that are one-offs for me. Right. Gabe Davis can be a one-off or part of a Buffalo stack.
Yeah.
Or Chase Claypool at 5,100.
Yeah.
Like you guys said, I hate
Chase Claypool now.
I do too, but like I think you just have to take a look at it. And then no Barrios this week. So Jameson Crowder is off the COVID-19 list. He's going to play. I think he's fully you can run him out there. He's 4,600, so I don't think a lot of people will probably play him. But he's a guy I'm super interested in.
Cool. And then I have at 4,400 Cyril Grayson for Tampa.
Cyril.
Part of that Buck stack.
Yeah, same thing.
Cyril and Cyril are 2 totally different things.
They're not. But this is a guy who stepped in and while Antonio was launching his shoulder pads into the 3rd row, he picked up the slack and got 8 targets last week, 20 points. The week before that, he put up 12.5. So he's kind of stepped in and stepped up, where some of these other guys, sure, they've filled in Scotty Millers and stuff. But I think Grayson he's turning into like a Tom favorite here. So
you got the game-winning touchdown last week. That's all it takes. Wrong.
So I think he's a really sharp play at 4,400, and then below that, I like Mr. Ray Macleod at 3,800 for Pittsburgh. Dude, the guy is just I don't know where he came from, but Ben loves him, and he is just a freaking target machine.
Well, because he doesn't go any routes over 4 yards.
Ben can actually get him the ball,
and he has not been like putting up monster numbers. But at 3,800, I mean, he's seen 8 targets, 3, 8, and 10. Like, if he can just do something with those and pop one in or something, like, again, you're not going to see 10 targets consistently in the 3K range. So this is a guy who's always keep on the radar. But
I do like the targets with the price.
That's it. All right.
Hey, it's tied up time.
I've got a dead min play.
All right.
That he might show up later in my my bold prediction of the week. You guys ready for this one? Do you have any idea? Brandon Zylstra.
Yes.
Okay.
Had the Barrios call.
Love it.
Had the Barrios call last week, but he's the only guy. The Bucs need to cover DJ Moore, and then there's nobody else in the passing game. For $3,000, all I need is like 7 to 8 points. If he gets me like 9 points, great. If he happens to fall into the end zone and gets me 15, I mean, if you're one of those people out there that are looking to try and play Jonathan Taylor or Kamara, and then also jam in like Cup or somebody like that, you're gonna have to play one of these guys.
Please give me a Brandon Allen Zelstra lineup, like just and put it in the million, just see what happens.
Okay, that's fine with me.
And if you win, I am gonna ask for a piece of that. All right, tight ends. Let's hit it, Rob.
All right, boys. Tight end time. Vinny, let's lead off with you.
Yeah, it's pretty simple for me. I'll just start up top. I mean, Andrews this week. I love.
Yeah, how can you not? Right.
He's getting expensive, but his production is right there with Kittle, Kelsey these last couple of weeks. Actually, pretty much all season long. He's the main focal point of that offense. If I like Tyler Huntley, I like Mark Andrews. So
yep,
I'll pay it.
Okay. The next guy I like down there is Zach Ertz, 5,300.
Yeah.
Again, I know the Cardinals are a little weird with who gets the targets, but his last 3 games, 9 targets, 13 targets, 11 targets, and 7 targets 4 weeks ago. I mean, the guy's getting the volume, and he's revitalized with that desert air, the nice warm weather for his old joints. So, Zach Ertz, man, 5,300, line him up.
I love it. I'm going to clip that and repost it. That's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. All right. He's nice and limber, so Sunday he'll be ready to go.
Dude, he was freezing in Philly. It was obvious. It was obvious how cold he was in Philly. He's a Cali boy.
Dude, if he scores a touchdown, we got to go ape shit on Twitter with the desert air.
I'm playing.
I think we should get a T-shirt made.
I'm playing a lot of that. If he wins me any sort of some sort of money, I'm just gonna get one of those shirts that says I love New York, but it'll just say I love desert air.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And
hell yeah.
we could mail our buddy Mike one. He's moving to Arizona, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna be all in on that.
He's gonna live her up.
Oh my god. All right.
I'm sure he probably will.
Below that, we each got one guy. Fire away.
Well, I mean, I
know you want to give me some weird play. Let's go.
No, I mean, I don't know why we just glossed over Rob Gronkowski.
I got this because I'll tell you why. Because I got this really weird feeling that they're just not going to need him and they're just going to save him.
Well, it's not that they're going to need him. They don't need him. This game doesn't really matter for them. They need
that's
him.
Why I was actually looking at Cameron Brate at 3,200. Really,
it actually does matter for them, Vinny, because if they win, they can guarantee themselves the 2nd seed. Which guarantees yourself 2 home games.
But I just don't think they need him in the sense of 10 targets and who knows? I mean, it's Gronk. He can still catch 2 touchdowns on 4 targets.
I don't like.
But I hear you.
The other guy, I mean, I have a lot of interest in. I mentioned him earlier. Is Freiermuth, no injury designation. I love him. I think he's going to be a solid play. Going down a little bit further, I mean, it's
I got one dead man.
It's pretty ugly.
Okay, go, tell me because
Josiah DeGuara.
He dropped a fucking touchdown last week. Fuck that guy.
I'm telling you,
he's not the dead man
either. Well, 2,900. I mean, that's down.
Dead man is 25.
But if we're expecting Jordan Love to play 3 quarters, the tight end's going to get more targets, especially no Devontae Adams on the field, no Aaron Jones on the field. It's going to be one of those weird weeks where DeGuara gets the 2 touchdowns or some shit. And everyone's going, what in the hell? And then people are going to play him in the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers. He's never going to get a target again. But in a Week 18 game that doesn't matter, a guy like Josiah DeGuara, just watch him do some weird shit at 2,900. And again, he's going to be on the field every play.
I'm not disagreeing with you about that he's going to be on the field. I
trust you. I trust all that. I'm saying with Aaron Rodgers out, I want DeGuara. Aaron Rodgers in, there's no fucking way.
It's ugly, but
it's. I mean, it's really disgusting. I mean, it's quite disgusting.
Oh, it's gross. Yeah.
The one guy I like down there, I think is since he's the starter now, Ricky Seals-Jones or whatever the fuck his name is out. Is John Bates. Going up against the Giants, playing for the Washington Potatoes, potentially Admirals, potentially Commanders, whatever the fuck they're going to name themselves. They should have just named themselves the Potatoes and had a big old Mr. Potato Head mascot. I mean, come on, how easy is that, right? But John Bates at 3,000, I think is a guy that has a better floor. And if I'm paying down this far for a guy, I'd like to think that I can at least get like 6 to 8 points out of him. And for me personally, that's a guy that's been actually like playing a little bit. And I think that, that could be a nice option. Vinny, do you have any real shit stabbers down here? Nah.
Yeah, I mean, the only other guy that I have down there, like not down there, but he's cheaper, is Hunter Henry at 4K. Like he's still an important part of the offense. He's fairly volatile.
Did you know he hasn't dropped a target this year?
That's pretty amazing. I did
well,
not
he
know
doesn't.
that.
I mean, he doesn't really get targets further than like 15 yards down the field.
Yeah, but
so.
I mean, he gets 6 to 8.
And Mac Jones throws a baby soft shit football. So
well,
that's like
why I like him.
Better than Lamar throwing rocks at the ground.
Yeah, he's just a classic guy in the red zone that they're going to target. They'll run a lot of 2 tight ends, so I think he's interesting at 4K. But that's it.
I like it. Yeah, it's a good touchdown option.
Let's do our specialty defense, starting from the bottom.
Defense time. Down in the bottom of the barrel. Who's going to step up?
Let's do this. We'll all say what our lowest price defense is, and then whoever has the lowest can say it first.
Okay, give me 1 second. My computer froze.
Okay.
All right.
Well, you're still running this, so I hope.
Yeah, no, it's good. Just my other page froze. We're good. Let's roll.
All right, 2,400 is my lowest. Joey.
Yeah, 2,400 is my lowest too.
Me too. Yeah.
I think we're all talking about the same people, right?
Yeah, there's 2 of them.
On 3, 2, 3. Detroit.
Dolphins.
Oh,
What'd you say, Jim?
Detroit.
Oh, yeah, it's not a bad play. The kneecaps.
Yeah, we're just gonna bite kneecaps. We're gonna get Jordan Love and Josiah DeGuara and AJ Dillon, who sucks, running the ball.
Well, look. But on our case with Miami, we talk about division games getting weird, and there's certain matchups that get really weird. And the Patriots and the Dolphins have some of the weirdest matchups on the planet. And I can see like defensive touchdowns happening in this game and Mac Jones just looking like shit. Again, that's not like this absolute prediction of mine, but these Dolphins-Patriots games get super weird.
Yeah.
Especially when the Dolphins have a chance to play spoiler on the Patriots.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think just the Dolphins, like they're at least a talented team. And like it's not like yes, the Patriots could explode and go nuts, but like you said, they have a chance to prevent New England from like getting a really good seed.
Getting home field advantage.
So
any home games,
they're going to play hard. Yep. I'm with you on Miami. All right, what about above that? If we're moving up, is there anybody that like kind of catches your eye? Like, I mean, one team that catches my eye next is Cleveland. Cincinnati's going to be starting Jim's favorite player, whoever that quarterback's name is.
One of the Allens.
Why is he my favorite player?
The guy sucks. Myles Garrett is like, I think in reach for – no, I don't think he can get the sack record, but he's up there. Whatever, man. Like, I don't think they get blown out here. If they get blown out by Brandon Allen, like, just fucking turn in your pads,
It's true.
And don't come back, honestly. So I'll roll with that.
They should have like – does anyone know why they actually renamed themselves the Brown when they got a new franchise? Like, that franchise has always fucking sucked. Like, why would you just pick a new name?
Because they're in Cleveland, and that's like who they are.
Because they're just shit. We're just destined to be shit forever.
The mistake by the lake.
Yep, pretty much.
All right, moving up to the mid-range.
Fuck the Browns.
Okay.
They fucking lost to the Raiders. I don't know.
Anyway, my favorite defense this week is 3,100. So keep going. Though.
All right, my favorite's 3K.
Go ahead.
It's the Steelers, and it's not just because of the performance they had last week. It's because they're going against a Ravens offense that has Tyler Huntley, and the Steelers defense. You got T.J. Watt going for the record. He's going to be going absolutely nuts. I think the defense knows that if they have any chance of winning and putting themselves in playoff potential, they're going to do exactly what they did last week, and they're going to fly around. They're going to get sacks. They're going to get picks. The Steelers do have a talented defense. They're getting healthier on defense. And, again, if they have won any chance of being a part of this tournament, it goes through the defense, and they know that. So, and, again, Tyler Huntley still, guys, I'm sorry, he's not good.
Are they the
Ravens
best?
Offense can do some shit, but Steelers can. They have the most chaos potential on defense.
Are the Watts the best brother NFL combo ever?
Possibly.
I think so.
But I think one of the biggest things the Steelers people don't recognize is Cameron Hayward being back. That guy is an absolute one-man wrecking crew in the 3-tech that opens up everything for that defense. He came back last week, and it was very obvious that he was back last week. And again, he's going to go off this week again. So I think, and this is going to be a hard, gritty division game. So Steelers, my favorite defense at 3K.
All right, I am proclaiming them the Washington Welders because they need some of those to fix their stadium. But I will be playing their defense because they are facing a Jake Fromm / Neck offense who
next out, dude. This is all Jake Fromm.
Okay, so Jake Fromm who passed for negative 10 yards last week. I'll be playing the Welders.
Yeah, that's who I was going. That's who I was going with, Ben.
I mean, dude, like you really can't get much worse than that. Like, come on.
It's true.
So up top, the only other team that I have listed here, a couple hundred more than that, is we talked about him a little bit, is Tennessee. And I think it's just, again, because they're going to put the screws to Houston. Vrabel is going to have this team ready to, like, absolutely just eat them alive. And I think Tennessee just kicks their ass. So I think Tennessee at 3,300 is a strong play. But that's it.
Up high, I would definitely go with the Colts, by the way, which would totally ruin our Jonathan Taylor plans, to be honest. But I can also see Trevor Lawrence throwing 3 or 4 picks and Colts getting a defensive touchdown or doing something.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to play if you're going to play the Colts defense, you have to play Jonathan Taylor because, like, one of those might go for a touchdown, but like a lot of them will be going to be putting him on a short field, and he's just going to have that's how he could have 4 touchdowns this week.
Yeah, that's
right. Like, but he could have 68 yards and 4 touchdowns just because they're getting the ball on the 40, 50 yard line every single play. So
but the two worst quarterbacks on the slate on Sunday are Jake Fromm and Trevor Lawrence. Let's be honest. So
that's fair.
And the Colts are really playing for something big time. They lose, they're out. So they need to win and they need to kick some fucking ass. So I like the Colts defense this week.
All right, our favorite time of the week. I got the scroll at the bottom. Let's do this. Joe, since you've been south of the border, you've been on quarantine, you have missed the last couple. Where are you going for your bold?
I've been on the COVID list. And this might be because I
literally have
not been around, but Allen Robinson scores a touchdown this week at 4K.
Allen Robinson?
Yes, sir.
Those are the kind of bold takes that we're looking for. That's what I'm talking about.
I said one the other day, and Jim stopped me. He's like, "No, that's not good enough."
It just wasn't the bold take.
Allen Robinson. Talk about everyone that's forgot about him. Probably one of the saddest stories in the NFL. That guy should have been the next DeAndre Hopkins, and the guy fucking tears his knee. Picks the Bears, and he's been on the COVID list 6 times this year. He's lost 20 pounds, but he's back. And it's Nagy's last game. I think Allen Robinson just he might even.
You think he shows out for Nagy?
No. Why on the contraire, he's so happy that.
Oh,
Nagy's
he just he scores a touchdown, flips the bird as he's running by,
Nagy. Yeah, exactly, dude. I mean, we've seen it with Darnell Mooney getting 14 targets in a game when Allen Robinson's out. Allen Robinson's still going to get 6-7 targets minimum this week at 4K. There's a really good chance that guy gets in the end zone.
So that's your bold call. He just gets in the end zone. So what?
Yeah, 1 touchdown, at least 1 touchdown. Yeah,
I mean, dude,
touchdown from Allen Robinson.
That doesn't sound very bold, but that would be quite bold.
That's pretty bold.
He's priced all the way down to 4K. There's defense is more expensive than him.
Yeah, that's pretty bold.
Jim, where are you going?
We're going to wide receiver. We're going right back to my guy I just talked about, the dead man, Brandon Zylstra, $3,000. He's going to get you 15 or more fantasy points.
Whoa.
All right. Okay. I wasn't taking him seriously last time.
5X? So, yeah, he's going to go 5X.
Okay.
Yeah, 5X.
I wasn't taking him seriously at
first. That Zylstra went to an Ivy League school.
I don't know.
Or a 1AA in Michigan or Illinois.
Okay, I'm looking it up right now.
Me too. Brandon.
Yeah, we got to find this out. This is really important.
All right.
Played college football at Concordia Moorhead. Undrafted in 2016, and he ended up playing.
Where's Concordia Moorhead?
That's a D3. Private college in Minnesota. Yeah, it's a
Okay, I was close. I said,
Vinny
Illinois
was absolutely the closest.
Yeah, I knew that one was coming. All right, for my bold call this week, I am calling hitting the nuts is going to be Taysom and Kamara. I think they go for a combined 50 plus. Those two.
That's very bold, actually. I think they're shit.
That's bold. I'll take that.
I mean, I think you see at least 20 from Kamara, or Taysom and 30 from Kamara.
So you're saying combined Taysom and Kamara go for 50 or more? Okay.
My God, that is very bold. Finally,
suck on that one.
Game.
I'll take that one.
Why don't you reject that one? Stick down your pipe and smoke it.
Don't mind if I do after this.
Amazing. All right. I think that's pretty solid.
Good to be back.
Slate of the year.
Yeah, but we're going to get a nice, fat playoff slate next week.
Yes.
Yeah, wild card. We have 2 extra games, so we'll definitely be doing a pod stream for that one. And then, we'll do some mini ones here.
We don't stop potting.
We got golf coming up.
Let it be written.
Sony Open next week is the first cut tournament of the week. I'll have an article out on Monday or Tuesday for that one, and then if
we're trying to get Jim to do more streams, but unfortunately he was coming off of his high of the winnings, and I couldn't get him on the YouTube stream this week.
I was a little stressed out this week, doing some things that opening up a new bank account because my shitbag credit union wouldn't accept
whatever
a big deposit.
Either way, next week we will have a golf. We'll have golf content. So
yeah, for sure. You could still hop on if you guys want. If you want to play a little showdown golf, that's a pretty good little sweat to have if you want to.
All right, dig it. That's it.
All right, guys. Good luck this week.
Peace.
Later.